up as I cut myself off.
Publisher of Poetry Magazine. The Writer's Almanac podcast is supported by the Poetry Foundation, publisher of Poetry Magazine. You can browse back issues of the magazine and become a subscriber at poetryfoundation.org.
And here is the Writer's Almanac for Tuesday, the 29th of October, 2013. It's the birthday of James Boswell, born Edinburgh, 1740. Family insisted that he go to law school. His father was a judge, so he did. He passed the bar exams, but didn't care for the practice of law, didn't really care for Scotland, wanted to be in London, wanted to meet the rich and the famous. So he did. He met Voltaire and Rousseau, Oliver Goldsmith, and then he met Samuel Johnson. He was just 22 years old. And Samuel Johnson, the great man of letters, was Boswell's idol. Johnson was 53. They soon became friends, and over the next 20 years, Boswell followed Johnson around, always took notes, wrote down what he had to say. And in 1791, he came out with The Life of Samuel Johnson. There'd never been a biography quite like it before. It was full of personal anecdotes and vivid descriptions. It was fun to read, and he made Samuel Johnson sound like a real person. Still considered one of the great biographies, and it's one reason why Samuel Johnson, Dr. Johnson, is still so famous today. It's the birthday of the poet and novelist Valerie Worth, born Philadelphia, 1933, best known for her so-called small poems, poems for children about everyday objects, such as her poem Safety Pin. Closed, it sleeps on its side quietly, the silver image of some small fish. Opened, it snaps its tail out like a thin shrimp and looks at the sharp point with a surprised eye. And it's the birthday of the novelist Henry Green, born Tewkesbury, England, 1905. Best remembered for his novel Loving, published in 1945. An upstairs-downstairs story, country home, Ireland, stories of the people who live there and the servants who work there. Henry Green, who said prose should be a long intimacy between strangers with no direct appeal to what both may have known. It should slowly appeal to feelings unexpressed. It should, in the end, draw tears out of the stone. And it's the birthday of the quilt maker Harriet Powers, born into slavery outside Athens, Georgia, 1837, famous for the quilts that she made, which told a story sort of like a graphic novel, such as her Bible quilt of 1886, which now hangs in the Smithsonian, and her pictorial quilt of 1888, displayed in the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. Here's a poem for today by Stephen Dunn, For Fathers of Girls, for Suzanne. When sperm leaves us and we cock-a-doodle-doo and our wives rise like morning, the children we start are insignificant as bullets that get lodged, say, in a field somewhere in the Midwest. If we are thinking, then, it is probably of sleep, or the potency of rest, or the one-hand catch we made long ago at the peak of our lives. Later, though, in a dream, we may imagine something in the womb of our heads, neither boy nor girl, nothing quite so simple. But when we wake, our wives are breathing like the wounded on the whitest street in the world. We are there, we are wearing conspicuous masks for the first time. Our eyes show the sweat from our palms. Suddenly, we are fathers of girls, purpley, covered with slime we could kiss. There's a cry, and the burden of living up to ourselves is upon us again. for Fathers of Girls, a poem by Stephen Dunn from his new and selected poems published by Norton and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac, produced by Joy Biles with assistance by Teresa Burgess. Be well, do good work, keep in touch.
Hi friends, Joe Hafner here. Are you interested in buying, selling, trading, or renting a house? Or maybe you're in the market for buying or selling a car, or perhaps selling or giving away clothes, furniture, or electronics. Well, I can help you out. Just email me, joe@Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. That's Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com. Email me today with your item and or items, and together we'll come up with a creative way to buy, sell, trade, or rent any reasonable item or service that you want. Keep in mind, though, I don't deal with the exchange of firearms, alcohol items, drugs, or anything illegal or immoral. So send me an email today at Gunther'sHouseOfFriends@gmail.com.
That's why every time I enter my yard or leave, I say, hello, trees.
Yeah.
I'm falling! Everybody look out!
Well, these sure look like phallic symbols to me.
But at least these panties aren't creeping upstairs while she's falling downstairs.
Surveillance shuffle.
We're undergoing a complete review.
2 million forced to change health insurance.
This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Surviving the superstorm.
I did not ever think that we would bounce back.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. The outcry from overseas is prompting the United States to rethink the way it spies on allies and their leaders. We're live at the White House with CBS's Peter Mayer.
And now, Steve, the administration seriously considering ending eavesdropping on dozens of foreign leaders. President Obama told the Fusion Cable Channel additional controls on spy agencies may be needed.
I'm initiating now a review to make sure that what they're able to do doesn't necessarily mean what they should be doing.
Leading congressional voices on these issues want strong action. Senate Intelligence Committee Chair Dianne Feinstein will review all intel gathering. Another Obama ally, Senator Dick Durbin, agrees.
These revelations call for a thorough review of the collection standards that we're using.
And an architect of the Patriot Act counter-terror law, Republican Congressman James Sensenbrenner, wants to overhaul the NSA.
I'm Dan Raviv in Washington. 9 members of the European Parliament who've come here to complain about U.S. surveillance and learn more about it today are scheduled to meet at least one of the members of the group appointed by President Obama to review espionage and electronic surveillance. Also with the top legal advisor to the Director of National Intelligence. The Europeans, who met with other officials yesterday, speak of a need to rebuild trust.
Rebuilding trust may be what's needed when it comes to health care reform, too. Amid the website sign-up woes, correspondent Jan Crawford says there's more evidence people are losing their current policies.
CBS News has confirmed with insurance companies across the country that more than 2 million people are getting notices they no longer can keep their existing plans. And those numbers are certain to go even higher. Some companies tell us they've sent letters, but they won't tell us how many.
What we're seeing now is the reality coming into play.
Industry experts like Larry Levitt of the Kaiser Family Foundation say the insurance companies have no choice. Obamacare forces them to drop many of their plans that don't meet the law's 10 minimum standards. That means consumers have to sign on to new plans even if they don't want or need the more generous coverage.
I'm Bob Fuss on Capitol Hill. Most people haven't heard of CMS, but it's the agency responsible for running the exchanges to sign up for Obamacare, and its administrator, Marilyn Tavenner, will be on the hot seat at a House hearing today. Contractors who designed and built the complex website have put the blame directly on CMS, and the White House has brought in outside experts now to try to get it fixed.
The court battle over the tough new Texas abortion law is far from over. A judge struck down some of it yesterday. KRLD Radio's Chris Fox says other parts are now in effect.
As of today, the 20-week ban on abortions has become law, as has part of the medical abortions provision.
We are pleased that Judge Lee Yackel upheld the requirement that abortion facilities abide by the FDA protocol for RU46 abortion, except in rare cases.
That's Texas Alliance for Life President Joe Poyman. Texas Attorney General Greg Abbott filed an emergency appeal against the provision found unconstitutional. It would have forced abortion doctors to have admitting rights to nearby hospitals. Its fate is now in the hands of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. appeals in New Orleans. Chris Fox, CBS News, Austin.
Outside Dallas, 5 people are dead and a man is in custody. KRLD's Emily Trube is in Terrell, Texas.
These people were killed all over the city. 3 women and 2 men at 4 different locations beginning yesterday afternoon. Police say that at least one person was burned to death. At least another was shot.
Police say the suspect has an extensive criminal record. A year ago today, Superstorm Sandy came crashing ashore in the Northeast. 181 people were killed, and rebuilding in some communities is still going on. CBS's Heather Bosch is in New York City.
Construction workers are busy in the Breezy Point neighborhood of Queens and will be for a while.
Every single home down here had some nature of damage.
Arthur Lighthall runs the cooperative here.
350 homes disappeared.
Most were crushed by floodwaters. More than 100 burned to the ground after rising seawater hit electrical systems.
The fire was here, so we ran for our lives.
Brigitte Cheswick walked with me through her neighborhood where rows of homes are slowly regrowing.
This house was rebuilt. This one is being rebuilt.
That's where Kevin Walsh is rebuilding the home that belongs to his father.
We're moving along. New windows, new siding.
Walsh works mostly on his own with help from neighbors.
Yeah, there's a lot of camaraderie and, they help you out.
It's a scene repeated all over this battered but proud neighborhood.
We want to thank the community. Thank them for what they've been able to do. I did not ever think the second day into this disaster that we would bounce back. But we did.
Heather Bosch, CBS News.
In Irwindale, California, the problem is the smell, and the city is asking a judge to stop production at a sriracha hot sauce factory. Resident Rita Sanchez says the odor is just part of the misery.
Your eyes are burning, feeling your nose, tingling, you want to sneeze.
The company says the issues are overblown. Overseas, polio is the latest challenge in war-torn Syria. The UN has confirmed 10 cases and says there's a high risk it will spread. Researchers have used new technology to get a better look at what we're looking at. We're live with CBS's Vicki Barker.
Science confirms what most women already knew. The first thing men check out is not a woman's face, but her body. The University of Nebraska researchers fitted their subjects with eye-tracking technology, then asked them to look at images of different-shaped women. But the same study also found women do the same thing looking at other women. The theory: with straight men, it's about mating. With straight women, about rating the competition. Steve?
Pivotal Game 5 of the World Series last night in St. Louis, with the Cardinals and Red Sox knotted at 2 games each.
The Red Sox win it. 3-1 the final, and the Red Sox are coming home to Boston with a 3-2 lead in the World Series.
Dave O'Brien on Red Sox Radio. Game 6 is tomorrow night in Boston. Senior correspondent John Miller tells us tech giant Infosys will pay a record $34 million to settle federal charges of visa fraud. The alleged practice allowed Infosys to undercut competitors in bids using cheaper foreign labor. A San Diego judge is under fire for sentencing a convicted killer to life in prison, then performing his wedding. The family of the victim plans to file an official complaint. And to top it off, Judge Patricia Cookson also baked a cake for the couple. It was a day-long ordeal for passengers on an Allegiant Airlines flight from Oakland, California to Provo, Utah.
I have been imprisoned by Allegiant Airlines for over 9 hours, and I'm outraged. This airline should go out of business immediately.
It all began for that passenger and others on a flight set to leave at 9:30 in the morning. A maintenance issue forced passengers off and onto a second plane that was flown in. There was an issue with that one, too. As the third aircraft was taxiing, the pilot said he needed more fuel and headed back. The flight finally left just before 9 p.m. Used to be infomercial pitchman Kevin Trudeau was all over TV.
The thing that I'm going to be talking about tonight is the natural cure for obesity or weight problems.
Now he's out of jail, released by the same Chicago judge who put him there for not paying a $37 million civil judgment for making false claims in a long battle with the Justice Department. That's the World News Roundup. I'm Steve Kaith, CBS News.
McGruff here.
The crime dog?
Yep.
I think I'm going to need your help. I've got an internet bully.
Okay, well, what you do is...
Maybe you could put a virus on her computer. Or a tracking device. Or a bug.
You don't have to do that, all you...
Or maybe we could get an attack dog. You ever see those attack dogs that can, rip a person's arm off? Seriously. Or like a SWAT team. A cyber SWAT team or something. Or like an army. Did you ever see that zombie army movie? We should get a zombie army.
Wait. All you need to do to stop an internet bully is delete their messages and never forward them on.
So, no zombies?
No zombies.
Bummer.
Delete cyberbullying. Don't write it, don't forward it. For more information, visit ncpc.org. A message from the U.S. Department